Baguettes. More baguettes. Put a full Irish breakfast on the baguette. We can't have fully formed impressions of all the people of the world. Stoned. Speaking of which. Comedians crack me up. That's their job, bitch. They supposed to. No. Comedians crack me up with their intelligence. Excuse me. You know, I think a lot of people think what comedians do is just say something funny, man. You know.
Yeah.
They don't recognize that what comedians do is a skilled and crafted art that takes time, thought, contemplation, precision,
research at times.
Research, and then testing, right? Excuse me, testing. You know, you got to pitch that shit to an audience. You gotta do those right. Hole in the wall tours. You got to do those dank bars. You got to do those dark hole in the wall places where when you fucking bomb or your joke doesn't hit or land, you know, I mean, like
it hurts.
And also to where you don't want people you know. So you kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that right, but I mean, like, you're workshopping, right? It's like, so you don't workshop it in front of, you know, what you're going to want to be a good crowd, a good, right? You just, you know, just small crowd, just like, can I entertain? Can I not? You know, so it's just interesting to think that, you know, so many people take for granted what comedians do when, you know, comedians perform an extremely important service for our species. Yeah. You know, and this guy is one of those, like, you know, like Eddie Izzard, that was who I was immediately reminded of as soon as he started doing the multilingual bits, okay. and that makes me feel bad not being as multilingual as I'm sure that we could be, right? Right. You know, so many people walking around on this planet speaking so many different languages. That's fantastic. You know what I mean? And there was a recent controversy about those, you know, about the somebody wanting to make the law where they couldn't post a job that required, you know, bilingual as a possibility or whatnot. And then that there was something going around online, and so I can't remember where. It was either like Arizona, for sure. It was either Arizona, Florida, you know, some southern state, some red state was trying to float some law or something like that, to where then the people who the internet was showing giving good defenses of it were, you know, they really went on this bent about how, you know, like, because you are less skilled than other people is not our problem,
right?
You know what I mean? Lots of places in the you know, just think about the southwestern U.S., right? There are Hispanic and Mexican families that have literally been there for hundreds of years. You know, some of this land is generational. You know, people forget the whole conflicts in Texas, New Mexico, Arizona. Yeah. I mean, it's called New Mexico, for fuck's sake. You don't think there are people of Mexican heritage there? Sure, the border shifted and went down, but remember this, you know, we had a war. We fought, there was travel,
it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, right? So, I mean, like, so there are whole swaths of California, whole swaths of these states, you know, to where there are going to be a lot of people who speak Spanish and predominantly want to speak Spanish. So there are going to be owners who are going to be posting positions for employees that need to be bilingual. And if you don't have that skill, that is not the problem of the bilingual people or the Spanish speaking people or the whatever other language people. That's your unskilled problem.
Yeah.
You know, but anyway, let's get back to some comedians here because I want to laugh. Those bachelor pricks. But this Cliff Cash comedian guy, he's really impressing me lately. He's very funny. He's like a Southern liberal. And he's really out there working hard, like fighting this fascism bullshit that's going on.
Cool.
You know,
you gonna show me some?
I'm gonna show you some more of his comedy, and then I'm gonna show you a little bit of his activism.
Okay.
Because I like it. I like what he's doing. And this is a great one. And I just, as a lead up, you know, these are funnier for me, right? Because of course my side of the family is a bit more hillbilly. You know, and I mean, you know, I don't mean hillbilly in a bad way. Like I said, these are my people. I am a hillbilly, but not in a bad way. You know, that's not a disparaging remark in any way. But it's definitely a socioeconomic status kind of thing to where it's a little bit more recognizable for me, and mostly along the lines of, like, you'll get it just because it's about big truck folk. You know, which, so as much as our two families do seem to align in so many ways, there are still some, I don't know, is it plebeian? There are some plebeian differences between the two clans for sure. But so it's a bit more relatable for me, but I think you'll like him as well. You will lose. I'm sorry. I gotta stop it there for a second because I gotta make an anthropological point. He's making an entirely separate joke that talks about the energy that this hairless primate possesses, right? What'd he say, right? He said he said, there was a lot of crying energy behind that, and you don't want to fight a crying, what was it, hillbilly or whatever? What did he say? Redneck.
Angry,
Yeah.
Angry redneck. Maybe? I don't know.
Something like that. So like he was about to angry cry or something like that. And he's like, and you don't want to fight a redneck when he's about to anger cry. He's like, there's a lot of energy behind that. You will lose. You will lose, right? And that's the phenomenon I'm talking about, where like even amongst ourselves, we recognize it and we notice it. We pointed out in other ways, right? We talk about how, a mom will lift a minivan off her kid, or all these different references and whatnot. But that's what I'm talking about, where I'm saying, we must have just baffled the fucking tigers, man. The panthers, the jaguars, the cougars, right? The massive cats of the jungles. We must have just baffled the ever-living fuck out of them. I mean, can you imagine what it would have been like? I try and do this thing. Like, imagine if you're just sitting in your barking lounge, enjoying a little bit of television, right? You're clicking on the boob tube, right? What's on? Okay, there we go. All right. And then out the corner of your eye, you happen to notice, is that a mouse? Yeah, there's a mouse there. Honey, there's a mouse standing on the counter, right? And I think he's holding looks like a little sword. Has he got a toothpick, right? Right? And if that little fucking mouse jumped off that counter, started screaming, whatever a mouse scream would sound like, and running across the floor to you, you'd freak the fuck out, right? I mean, would you not?
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like that can only happen to a tiger so many times before even a tiger will go, yeah, okay. All right, I'm not fucking with these things, right? Right? Because, a traveling band of humans comes along to this section of the jungle, right? Of course, I mean, every cat...
It would never be one.
Right?
That's the thing. The tiger would be hundreds of humans.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So easy pickings come along, right? I mean, and they're cats, right? They're large cats, so they smell us from miles away, right? So, and we'd get there and there'd be bunches of us, right? Easy pickings we would be, right? But I mean, the tiger's going to rush into this band of humans. Unbeknownst to that tiger, a lot of these fucking hairless primates are just going to lose their shit trying to protect their loved ones in the most absurd way any creature that knows anything about survival would ever do, and that is to run towards the tiger. The tiger going, okay, hang on a second, I've got 10 fucking daggers on the ends of my hands, right? I've got these giant fucking sabers in my mouth, right? I've got about 800 to 1,600 pounds on each of these things, except yet a bunch of them are still running straight towards me. Yeah, are they? And it looks like they've picked up branches of some sort. Yeah, okay, all right, oh yeah, all right, shit, those are pokey. Yeah, oh fuck, okay, all right. And now the tiger's finding itself, it's got to run, right? Because this hairless little primate, it turns out it's a lot like when a scorpion attacks a column of ants, right? It turns out that the scorpion was like, oh, look at all these little fuckers. Like, oh, hang on a second. Oh, shit. Now they're all over me. And okay, they are starting to rip me apart.
I'm done.
Right? Yeah. I mean, so the tigers essentially have to do the same thing. And they run away. And I'm like, and that's got to just be baffling to large predator cats. To just think about hairless primates not being able to hunt them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, we should be so easy to kill, yet it turns out it's not that easy for me to.
Right.
Right.
We are resilient.
Yeah. And mean as fuck too. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, and we brought up before too, like vengeful, right?
Vengeful.
Like you take one of us down, 1,000 are gonna come hunt you down. Like
right? Yes, I've talked about that.
Like
before.
we're not circle of whatever.
Yeah, like, we don't. Yeah, exactly. We are like probably one of the first species to step outside the realm of understanding of the circle of life, law of survival. Right, matter has to transform in order for everything to survive.
We decided we are
fuck that
apex.
shit.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We are the top of that pyramid.
Exactly.
And everything needs to bow to us.
Everything, right? We just. It has to, and yeah, because that's the other thing is a lot of these large predator animals would have learned that lesson, right? Because again, yeah, sure. Tigers and jaguars and these large cats, they definitely would have come in and taken some of us, right? Because we die easy, right? Even if they swipe us and put several good claw marks into us, but then other humans chase off, right? But even if the tiger attacks and doesn't take anyone and get a meal out of it, 10 to 20 humans are probably going to fucking die, right? Just from the maiming, from the interaction with the tiger, right? But the tiger gets poked enough and prodded enough and bit enough and to where maybe the tiger leaves with no food, right? But several humans are still going to die. But that's just where the beginning of the tiger's problems right? Because now not only does the tiger not have any food in his belly, right? Because again, the tiger has to transition your matter into his matter in order to survive, right? Circle of life, right? Either if the tiger doesn't acquire enough food, tiger dies, falls into the dirt, and then plant and tree transform the tiger's matter into their matter.
Yeah.
Right? It's right, but the vengeful human, now the tiger who has a hungry belly, did not get any food, has maybe it got its eye poked out, right? It's definitely bleeding from at least 2 to 3 puncture points somewhere on its body, but it's a big fucking tiger, right? You know, it's a 1,200-pound beast, right? He's got a lot of muscles, right? He's gonna heal, right? He'll have some cool scars, right? For the chick tigers, whatever, you know, if chick tigers dig scars, who knows, right? But his bigger problem now is that there's 100 fucking humans who are now hunting him because they're pissed that you
had the audacity to come after us, who clearly shouldn't be, but somehow are apex
predators. You just didn't think that we looked like it, right? Yeah. Poor tiger. I'm sorry, tiger, but yeah, it's a phenomenal existence that we have enjoyed for a very long time, and I think it must have been. I love to try and anthropomorphize the positions that other animals must have had as they watched Homo sapiens travel into their territories, into their ecosystems and territories.
Yeah.
It must have been fascinating to watch those animals adapt, you know? Like, holy shit, is this happening? Did mice just come out of my wall over there, declare my house is theirs, said the tiger in his swath of the jungle, right? Did a bunch of fucking mice just come, right? They can't even leave, right? They're crawling on the jungle floor, right? Telling me, the tiger, I don't get to be here anymore, right? They want to have an orgy and stink up the place, right? Because again, cats have very senses of smell, right? And we're going to have our nasty orgies. A bunch of fucking mice just come running up on the jungle floor telling me I got to leave, right? Or die, right? Because they're more than happy to kill me and eat me to fuel their stinky little orgies, right? And then not only that, right? But then think about this too, people. The tiger also has to deal with the fact that, hang on a second, as he's watching, perched in his trees, right? There's some stinking hairless primates. What are they? Hang on, are they wearing tiger skins? And then they've made weapons out of, hang on, is that my aunt? They're wearing my family members. Hang on a second. I did feel like I hadn't seen as many tigers as I've been roaming through these parts, right? You know, usually you can, spray your piss on a tree here and there, and you bump into a female, maybe knock some tiger boots here, knock some tiger boots there. Sure, of course, you're going to bump into another male tiger now and again, and, depending on how long it's been between seeing female tigers, maybe you two, who knows, right? I don't know what tiger life generally was like before humans come along. All I know now is that they've been bitch slapped and put into their place, held into a very small ecosystem that we grace them out of the will of our good, the good part of our hearts,
right?
You know what I mean? Right? But back in the day, 300,000, 200,000, 100,000 years ago, when these animals were getting used to the fact that, okay, this hairless primate's no fucking joke, it's not going anywhere, right? They're taking control of these ecosystems. It had to have been fascinating. I wonder what it would have been like for them.